There is a particular kind of loneliness that does not come from being without people. It comes from thinking in ways that most people around you are not thinking, from arriving at conclusions through a path that nobody else took, from seeing something clearly in a situation, in a system, in a person that the people around you have either not noticed or have decided not to look at. Because independent thinking looks like a gift from the outside. And in many ways, it is. The ability to form your own conclusions, to question what is presented rather than accepting it, to follow an idea past the point where most people stopped following it, to hold a position not because it is popular, but because it is true, is a genuine intellectual and moral strength. It is the quality that drives original thought, that produces the insights most people never arrive at, because most people never went looking. Psychologists studying intellectual autonomy, the degree to which a person forms beliefs independently of social pressure, have found a pattern. High intellectual autonomy is associated with greater creativity, stronger critical thinking, and a more stable internal sense of identity. But it is also associated with higher levels of social isolation and a specific kind of loneliness that researchers describe as epistemic loneliness. The experience of feeling cognitively alone, of moving through a world where the conversations available to you rarely reach the depth where you actually live. Epistemic loneliness is not about being smarter than anyone else. That framing misses the point entirely. It is about processing differently, about having a mind that cannot easily settle at the surface of things, that keeps pulling toward the question, underneath the question, the implication beneath the obvious conclusion, the thing that everyone is assuming without examining, and finding that most social environments are not designed for that kind of pulling, that the person who keeps asking the next question is often experienced as difficult rather than curious, as challenging rather than engaged, as someone who cannot simply accept things as they are, which is sometimes true and often unfairly framed. The independent thinker learns early to read a room before they speak, to sense where the edges of acceptable thought are in a given conversation before deciding how close to those edges they are willing to go, to calibrate, to translate, to find the version of what they actually think that can exist in the current conversation without producing more disruption than connection. And that constant calibration, that lifelong practice of managing the gap between what you actually think and what it is safe to say, is genuinely tiring in a way that most people around them never see. But the same independence that produces that clarity also produces the distance. Because independent thought is by definition not shared thought. It arrives through a process that is largely internal, through questioning and reading and sitting with discomfort and being willing to be wrong on the way to being more right. And it often produces conclusions that are out of step with the conclusions of the people around you. Not dramatically always, sometimes just slightly. Just enough that conversations have a way of stopping just short of where you actually are. Just enough that you find yourself editing what you say, not out of dishonesty, but out of the accumulated experience of knowing where full honesty tends to lead in most social situations. Know where that feels worth the friction. So you say the version that fits, and you keep the rest. The loneliness of thinking independently is not evidence that the thinking is wrong. It is evidence that genuine thought has always moved ahead of group thinking. That the people who see most clearly have always lived with the particular solitude of seeing something true before the world was ready to see it with them. So what would it mean to stop apologizing for the way your mind works and start looking for the people who can finally meet you there